Hey, I'm Riley. Grab a drink, get comfy. This is Riley Reads the Internet. If this makes your day 1% better, you know what to do. Now, today's first story. Reverse gazumped, when greed met its match. Gazumping is when a seller accepts your offer, then takes a higher one and sells it to someone else. My best friend and her husband knew that word too well. 5 kids, a tired 4-bedroom rental they could afford. A wealthy, elderly owner who liked them, froze the rent for years, and promised they could buy once they had a loan. They saved every dollar. 2 days after they were ready, she passed, before anything was in writing. Her 4 adult children inherited a portfolio and the house. At first, they reassured my friends. Probate, then the sale would proceed at the agreed price. My friends exhaled. They stripped wallpaper, painted a few walls, started to hope out loud. Probate ended. The heirs changed the price, up by tens of thousands, and set an open house for 1 week later. The bank denied the loan at the new number. With 5 kids, time and options were not luxuries. Rents had surged during the freeze. If a new owner hiked the rent or asked them to leave, finding another place with enough bedrooms would be nearly impossible. When people who have plenty squeeze people who don't, market forces is just a costume for greed. I was scared for them. I was furious at the heirs. They didn't need the money. They wanted to squeeze. We couldn't stop the open house. We could shape the impression. Not by trashing the place or breaking laws, by reality. Make buyers see the home as it truly lived, not staged, not curated, not magazine. Just lived in, noisy block, older systems, busy weekends. In other words, context. We pulled furniture a little off the walls instead of hugging every corner. Added a few pieces and family items so rooms read smaller on first glance. No impeccable minimalism here, just a full house with 5 kids. My friends cooked a big pot of something very assertive. Doors and drains did their usual thing. Old places have quirks, and the air carried that story. Outside, the neighbors hosted a loud afternoon barbecue. On their property, with permission, with safe behavior, and our circle dropped by. Lots of folks in and out. Laughter, engines, a street that felt like a street. Real estate photos whisper serene. Saturday reality says, bring earplugs. Open day arrived. Plenty of lookers. Many stepped in, stepped right back out. One determined buyer lingered, took it in, then chatted with a neighbor heading home. Do people gather like this often? Every couple weeks, came the casual answer. Someone else mentioned the occasional drain quirks from old tree roots. Nothing dramatic, just the kind of thing longtime residents know. He nodded, thanked them, and left without an offer. By sunset, there was exactly one offer on the table. My friends. It was higher than the original promise, lower than the heirs' fantasy. They signed and paid the deposit immediately. On Monday, a brave buyer tried to swoop with an offer $30,000 above, but this city has strict anti-gazumping rules. A signed contract ends the auction. The heirs had to accept the existing deal. If you play cute with a promise, the law may play straight with you. They moved from renters to owners. The house still needed work, but it was theirs. The kids kept their rooms. The routine stayed intact. No panic move. No scramble across town to a smaller place that didn't fit a family of 7. I can hear the chorus, but their rent was cheap. Not then. 15 years back, $400 a week in that area was steep. Over the next years, average rent crept only a little. Today, similar places go for roughly double. That cheap line is a myth told by people who never had to choose between groceries and a bedroom big enough for bunk beds. We didn't vandalize, we didn't lie, we didn't threaten. We simply refused to gift buyers a fantasy. We let the house look like it actually lives. We let the block sound like it actually sounds. And we used the law. The same law the heirs tried to exploit to lock in a fair outcome. Final word. This isn't a how-to for mischief. It's a reminder. Context matters, contracts matter, and promises, especially to families hanging on, should be honored. If greed tries to game the system, play by the rules with clarity and speed. Sign, deposit, done. Let the open house sell the truth, not the dream. Okay, on to the next C story. Monkey branching is easier than you think, and why it rarely lasts. Here's the uncomfortable truth about monkey branching. Not letting go of one relationship until the next feels secure. It often works in the short term because the comparison game is simple. When someone is single, you're stacked against the entire field. When someone is taken, you're measured against one person, their current partner. One-on-one usually beats a crowd. Low competition doesn't mean high compatibility. It just means fewer people at the starting line. If you aim at someone already attached, the bar can look lower. You only need to seem better than the status quo, more attentive than the partner who's gotten complacent, more exciting than the routine they've been living, more emotionally available than whatever distance has built up at home. That's why the strategy feels effective. The frame is lopsided from the start. But here's the bill that always comes due. Foundations built on comparisons rarely hold. If someone branch swung to you, the same habit can carry them away. Trust becomes a debate, not a default. Every disagreement echoes the origin story. If we started with secrets, what else is hidden? The chemistry that felt electric early on turns into background static. Checking phones, reading subtext, keeping score. Time makes this worse, not better. At first, you're all novelty, fresh stories, clean slate, no history to complicate the picture. As months pass, the dataset grows. Your flaws stop being charming quirks. Your strengths get matched against their ex's strength, and your weak spots against their ex's weak spots. It's not a frozen snapshot, it's a rolling update. The day one win erodes under daily life. New doesn't mean better, it just means untested. There's also the mental math of scarcity. In the single arena, people compare you to many options: jobs, hobbies, travel, the peace of staying solo. You need to shine across multiple lanes. In the taken arena, the comparison narrows to the known partner's current deficits. If that partner improves, or if your early shine fades, the balance shifts quickly. What looked like a sure thing becomes a rerun. One more angle that quietly raises risk. Proximity plus disclosure. If your partner vents every private frustration to a friend, that friend gets the playbook. What's failing, where it hurts, and how to present as the fix. Most don't plot it. Some do. Either way, inside knowledge makes positioning easy. The solution can slip in under the banner of empathy. None of this is a moral panic. It's pattern recognition. The manipulative version of monkey branching is obviously toxic. The unintentional version still runs on the same physics. Low competition, high novelty, fragile trust. If the relationship can't withstand honest daylight, clarity, boundaries, accountability, it will crack where it began. So what actually protects you? Not policing every interaction, not paranoia. It's the boring, durable stuff. Consistent attention, repair after conflict, shared goals, and a partner who chooses transparency without being chased. It's also keeping some problems inside the couple first. Therapy, check-ins, dedicated time. Before blasting them to an audience that might, intentionally or not, try on the hero role. If someone is easily taken, they were never held by commitment, only convenience. And if you win them by one-upping their partner, understand what you've really won. A provisional trophy that requires permanent defending. That's not love. That's siege warfare. Final word. Monkey branching is easy because the competition looks small. It's unsustainable because real relationships aren't competitions at all. If you're on the receiving end, let them go. You dodged a slow bleed. If you're tempted to swing, sit with the impulse. Fix the relationship you're in, or leave clean. Branches feel safer when you're honest about the ground. Now, the final story. 1 year married, 2 betrayals, and a sober maybe. We've been married a year, together 7. Twice now, my wife crossed lines while drunk. First with flirty, explicit messages, then with late-night sexting and FaceTime that stretched into dawn. After the first time, she apologized, went to therapy, and kept drinking. I kept going, but the trust never caught up. A few weeks ago, it happened again. I confronted her, and she fell apart, said she'd already woken up disgusted with herself, said alcohol is the common thread under every fight we've ever had. When she's sober, things are good. When she drinks, the floor gives out. Alcohol doesn't send the texts. People do. I told her I was done. She cried, begged for a day-by-day shot at sobriety, asked for couples therapy. I said yes, not because I'm confident, but because I don't want to look back and wonder who she might have been without the bottle. I've tried to live without regrets. No stone unturned. It's been a week. She's trying. Deleted social apps, read 2 sobriety books, shared her location, shows up soft and attentive, actually talks. I meet her halfway and still feel flat. The anger cooled into numb. I can be present and still feel a few steps away. Here's the complicated truth. When we're good, we're great. We laugh in the same places. We build weekends that feel like ours. That's what makes this so heavy. I love her. I also don't want this version of marriage. Phones I don't trust, nights I dread, apologies I can map on a calendar. If we weren't married, I'd probably be gone. But we are. The ring changes the math. Commitment, vows, the idea that you don't sprint at the first fire. I don't worship suffering, but I don't quit easy either. So I'm here, 1 foot in today, the other towing the line where my self-respect waits. Promises are noise, patterns are data. I keep replaying the 2 incidents like film reels. Same trigger, same slope. Different dates, same gravity. She calls it an alcohol problem. I agree. She says she wants to be sober for good. I want to believe that. Want to meet the version of her that doesn't need the blur to get through a Friday. Day-to-day looks ordinary and strange. We cook dinner, share a couch, name the elephant, out loud. Therapy intake forms sit on the counter. I watch what she does at 5 p.m. I notice what I don't notice. The silence from her phone. The way she puts it face up instead of face down. Small things that shouldn't have to be signals, and yet, here we are. There's a split screen in my head. On one side, the woman I married, sober, choosing us, stacking up boring, beautiful days. On the other, the version who's 1 drink away from detonating the room. If love were enough, there wouldn't be a split screen. Love is the reason I'm still standing here. It's not a repair plan. Trust isn't a switch, it's a ledger. I've set quiet lines for myself. If she drinks, I leave the house. If she lies, we separate. If she stays sober and shows up, in therapy, in truth, in the boring everyday, then I keep showing up too. I'm not policing. I'm not a warden. I'm tracking whether the life we say we want is the life we actually live. Her effort is real this week. My hesitation is real too. 2 truths can sit at the same table without canceling each other out. I can love her and hate what she did. I can root for her and still protect myself. I can try and still walk away if trying turns into another loop. People will say, once a cheater, always a cheater. Maybe. People will also say, addiction is the problem. Also, maybe. The only thing that matters here is the combination. Her choices, plus her recovery, plus my capacity to forgive and trust again. Not internet slogans, not blanket rules. Just 2 people and what they build or break. There's grief in this. The relationship I thought we had died twice, and I didn't call the funeral either time. That's why even the good moments feel lighter than they used to. You don't unsee certain things. You just learn whether you can see past them, and that takes longer than anyone wants. I don't know yet if I'm staying forever. I do know I'm staying for now, with conditions that I can actually keep. with therapy on the calendar, not in theory, with sobriety counted in days that turn into weeks, then months, with hard conversations that don't end in defensiveness or deflection, with the understanding that forgiveness is earned in quiet repetition, not grand speeches. Recovery is boring on purpose. Maybe we make it. Maybe we don't. If we do, it'll be because she stayed sober and honest long enough for trust to grow back like a slow, stubborn vine. If we don't, it'll be because the data said what the heart didn't want to hear. Either way, I'll know I didn't run from the question. I faced it. Final word. Am I doing the right thing by staying? For this week, yes, because I'm choosing an honest trial, not denial. The right thing next week depends on what we both do between now and then. If she keeps choosing sobriety and truth, I'll keep choosing us. If not, I'll choose me. That's not cruelty. That's the promise under all the others. What would you do? Drop it below. If this made you smile, hit like and subscribe. You're awesome. See you next time.